going to be a more in-depth video on Love Island USA Season 8, going from episode 1 to episode 24. I've been watching it for the past 60 hours, and let's get into it. So, again, OG girls, Anaya, Kenzie, Trinity, Beatrice, and Melanie. My favorite out of those was Beatrice because she was an Olympian, and I thought that was really cool. I thought Kenzie was annoying as heck. Boys, OGs. Sincere, Bryce, Zach, Sean, KC. My favorite of those was Sean. I thought Sean was like the sweetest guy. He was a walking green flag. I don't know. I just thought he was really cool. So, the first coupling was Sean and Trinity, Sean and Beatrice. KC didn't have anybody, which is important because it plays on to episode, I don't know what it is, episode 19, episode 20, something like that. When a recoupling happens, T we'll talk about later. Sincere and Melanie, Zach and Kenzie, and then Anaya and KC. Those were the final couplings after the first episode. So, on the first episode, 2 new bombshells were also introduced. A guy named Gabriel and a girl named Kata. And it was very interesting to see the dynamic with everybody after that. And at that point, the bombshells got to choose who they wanted to be coupled up with in episode 2. The couples after that were Gabriel and Beatrice, Sincere and Melanie, Anaya and KC, Kata and Zach. And single were Sean, Trinity, Bryce, and Kenzie. And Trinity and Bryce ended up getting recoupled because I can't remember what happened, but something happened and they ended up getting recoupled with each other. I think Zach has the eyes from the hamster of bedtime stories. Personal opinion. I think when Melanie's mad, she kind of talks like a Kardashian. Like, no, like, I don't understand why you would do that. Which I think is kind of interesting. I don't know how Kardashian talks, but if you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians or anything from any of the Kardashians, you'll know what I'm talking about. Jumping into episode 4. Melanie and Sincere have miscommunication from the jump, bro. So it was just kind of crazy to see how that started from the beginning and how you see that progress. And I think Gabriel, from episode 4, wanted to just mess around with Beatrice. I don't think he ever wanted a real relationship. Episode 4 was also when Corbin, our new bombshell, got introduced. And he's, in my opinion, huge flirt. He just likes to mess around. And he's 22. He's from Miami. So he's trying to get it on. So, you know, I don't think he was really there to find love. I don't really think he is there to find love at all. In the first episode, when Beatrice gets mad at Melanie, well, Beatrice is the one who called out Melanie. Trinity, Kenzie, and Beatrice were all kind of upset with her, but Beatrice is the one to like actually pull the trigger and make the call. I thought Melanie was being a hypocrite. I thought she was claiming to be locked in with Sincere and then pulling in Corbin for a chat, and I thought she was hella flirting with Corbin. And I think Melanie was very, and is very defensive, very controversial. She's a drama starter and she cries over nothing. I think Melanie, either consciously or subconsciously, weaponizes crying to get people to feel bad for her, feel sorry for her. I think she likes to victimize herself, and I think she uses crying as her weapon. Episode 5, I thought it was very interesting when Kenzie and Corbin were building their connection. And Corbin just kept trying to kiss Kata. And Kata was like, no, boy. She was like, I'm not kissing you. And he was like, can I get a kiss? He literally talks like that. I do like his deep voice, but sometimes he just sounds like an idiot. Can I get a kiss? Like, bro, shut up. At that point in episode 5, I thought Anaya and KC were locked in. I thought they were the strongest couple. I think Kata loves to play hard to get. And in episode 5 was another recoupling, which was the girl's choice. Corbin chose first, obviously, in that episode. He chose Kenzie, obviously. Anaya chose KC, which is important to note. Anaya picked KC in episode 5 of the recoupling. Keep that in mind. Melanie was obviously with Sincere, Kata was Zach, Beatrice with Gabrielle, and Trinity was with Bryce. And Sean was single and vulnerable again. and he got dumped from the villa, which I thought was really sad. I think he deserved more of a chance. I think that he didn't get a fair shot at Love Island. I think once Beatriz was locked in with Gabriel, it was kind of like, it was endgame. Like, it was over. Episode 6 felt kind of like a filler. And then there was a slumber party. Oh, there was the slumber party in episode 6, where our new bombshells, Sol, Jen, and Caleb came in. Kenzie has been complaining about finding the right guy the entire time. Caleb was that perfect walking green flag. And Kenzie, what did she do? What did she do? Ran away to Corbin. The walking red flag. I'm gonna lose it. I thought it was very sweet how Trinity, like, obviously she was making out with everybody during the sleepover. I got a phone call from my mom, and I don't have 2 phones. I only have 1 phone, so it interrupted my video. But I thought it was really sweet how Trinity obviously was making out with everybody in the challenge, and she stopped as soon as she found Bryce. She was like, do I have to keep going? And she was like, no. I thought that was really sweet. I thought it was kind of messed up how Melanie kept making out with Corbin and Sincere. Like, I don't know how I would have done it because I've never been blindfolded and made out with multiple people. But I don't know if, I think she might have knew that it was Sincere and was trying to make him jealous. Could have been me. Anyway. Obviously our bombshells came in. Sol came in and made out with all of the guys' eyes open, and so did Jen. And then Caleb made out with everybody. Everybody's eyes were open. And I thought, like I said in my other videos, Caleb was everything Kenzie asked for. Kenzie still rejected him to run back over to Corbin. To the producers, you could not have a better plot twist than that, honestly. Anyway, Casey had so much red all over him during the challenge, which I thought was very interesting, but I thought in the game that challenges were hall passes for everybody. That's how they were treating it. Sorry, my apartment complex's gardening people are out. I thought it was really sweet how in episode 7, Sincere was kind of venting to Anaya about Melanie, and how Melanie was kind of venting about Sincere to KC, and how everybody, they're like little 4 besties. I thought that was really sweet. I think Zach and Katie were trying to make each other jealous with the new bombshells. Sincere obviously made out with Sol outside of the challenge. Corbin is jealous of Caleb, and Kenzie doesn't like how he's so jealous, which I thought was very interesting. And I thought it was super tea when Sincere and Sol were over in Speakeasy, and then, you know, where the doors closed, and then Melanie walked in right after they made out. Because I think Sol heard her coming and was like, I'm gonna keep making out with you, keep making out with you, keep making out with you, but I don't want to get caught. You know what I mean? So I thought that was very interesting. Episode 8, Sincere and Melanie starting off real rocky. Real rocky. I thought it was interesting that Bryce wanted to explore with Kata, because I was like, she been giving you you're just a friend vibes this whole time. From day 1 of Kata coming into the villa, like, as soon as Kata came into the villa, her and Zach were all cuddled up over here making out and stuff on the bed when they first fell asleep together. And Bryce literally tried to come in and be like, yo, and Kata was like, get out of here, I want Zach. Sorry if I keep mixing up people's names, kind of like in the meat and potatoes of this. So, the Sweetest Pie episode, I think it was 100% fair for Sol to have her crash out, because I don't think it's fair for her, and she didn't think it was fair either, for her to make moves on Sincere, since he's open and honest with her, and the only one who is open and honest with her, because again, nobody wanted to be open to Sol. Like, nobody wanted to explore her. Nobody wanted to even get to know her, and even in like a friendly way. Even like, yo, let's be homies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, none of that was happening. Not even on the girls' end. Because why? Because they all were besties with Melanie, and nobody wants to be on Melanie's bad side because Melanie's a jerk and a crybaby. And so there are love triangles at the end of episode 9, or during episode 9, because there was a recoupling in episode 9. The love triangles in episode 9 were Sol, Melanie, and Sincere, Kenzie, Corbin, and Caleb, Jen, Gabrielle, and Beatrice, which I thought was very interesting because Gabe was playing the game low-key. You know, he made out with Jen and he made out with Sol. Like, that was crazy. I think Melanie and Sincere have a very toxic cycle. They break up, get back together, repeat. Break up, get back together, repeat. Melanie and Sincere together. Sincere does something that messes with Melanie's head. Melanie's like, I hate you. Sincere does something sweet or does something nice, or Melanie has trust in him, and then they're back together, and then the cycle just keeps repeating itself over and over and over. And I'm like, girl, stand up. Mama, wake up. You deserve so much better than an abusive relationship. I don't know what that syndrome is called. I need to look it up. But it's like, is it Stockholm Syndrome? I don't know what the syndrome's name is, but it's like, it's a pain reward cycle, and it's not okay. But anyway, America got to choose who gets to be with the bombshells in episode 9. America chose Caleb and Kenzie because they think they really just want Caleb to be happy. Kenzie keeps messing around with both of them. Kenzie's never had a roster before, and now she's got options, and I think she likes it. So she likes creating drama with that. Jen and Gabe, Sol and Sincere, and then Corbin had to save a girl by coupling up with her, and he picked Melanie. And then obviously Trinity and Bryce and Kate and Zach. Obviously that's like set, but Corbin ended up picking Melanie, so Beatrice ended up going home, which was really sad because obviously she liked Gabe, and her leaving was really sad. She was like, I loved Beatrice because she was not afraid to tell them how it was. She was like, I'm gonna call you out, which I think was really sad because I think later on Anaya really needed her to say like, hey, wake up, you're being delusional. Because in the beginning, Anaya was like, you know, people get lost in Love Island. Like, if I'm being delusional, y'all need to like wake me up. She about to eat those words later on, girl, let me tell you. Anyway, episode 10 was the After Sun episode. I thought it was interesting how Sean's mom said, like, I kind of skipped this one because I was trying to catch up on Love Island, but I thought it was kind of interesting that Sean's mom said he missed a connection with Anaya. Like, it could have been something. So I thought that was kind of sad. I think Beatrice should have tried harder with Sincere, low-key, because he was a track coach. She was a track star. I think they should have just explored it. You know, just chatted more. Episode 11. Corbin is Jablasian, Jamaican, Black, and Asian. Okay. Melanie. I think she's too much of a crash out, and I think she's way too emotionally invested in Sincere. She is putting all of her eggs in that basket with Sincere. This is the basket. All of that is filled with Melanie's eggs for Sincere. I just can't. I can't. Casey was kind of open to exploring with Sol. Kind of not, because he was afraid how Anaya would feel, and Anaya loved her to death, love her down. A little bit of a crash out whenever Casey tries to talk to somebody at this point in time in episode 11. Kenzie has no loyalty to Caleb, and Corbin had no loyalty to Melanie. They was making out left and right, and then there was that secret makeout in the bedrooms that I don't know if anybody knows about. There was the soccer challenge where everybody was getting hot and steamy in that shower. Woo! But it did make Anaya insecure. And she didn't want to make Casey feel like she was limiting his options. Like he couldn't go explore something else. But she still kind of was making him feel that way. I don't know. Love Island, if you think about it really, is speed dating. But it's speed dating in front of your crush. If that makes sense. Like, you're speed dating. Oh, I like this person. I have a crush on them. Oh, let me go talk to another guy right in their face. That is kind of the mentality that you have to have in Love Island, but it's hard to forget the real world, where it's like, oh, in the real world, I would be dating multiple different people at the same time, because in Love Island, it's like you're in your own little bubble. You really are in your own little bubble. You're off in Fiji, you're in paradise. You only are talking to these people. You're separated from your support systems. You don't know these people. You don't know who they really are. You know, you spend every day with them, sure. And genuinely, I believe that you can really learn a lot about a person when you spend every day with them. But it's like, that's not going to come. I don't know. I just think that a relationship needs to be tested very much so. And you don't really get those kind of tests in Love Island. Like, you don't really know how that person's going to support you if someone passes away in your family. There's just like a lot of things in the outside world that you need that the Love Island bubble does not provide. So anyway, I think Trinity and Kato were besties after Beatrice left. They loved to gossip, which I thought I loved. Gabe was not Jen's type, and I think Jen mentioned that in episode 11, and Gabe was very much invested in Jen. And Bea was kind of out of sight, out of mind for Gabe. So, interesting. Episode 11, as we know, Zach and Kato went to the Hideaway. Woo! If you don't know what the Hideaway is, it's like a separate area. It's just you and your partner in a room. They had sex. Anyway, episode 12. Kenzie and Corbin are very toxic. They're always going back to each other. Always going back to each other. Kenzie, they're both cheaters and they regret their couples. I think they might have cheated in their past lives. Obviously, the show is very heavily edited. We don't know everything that goes on. The only people that know what's actually going on every day of every moment in the villa is the Islanders. So, and obviously the camera people who cut everything and the producers. So, anyway, I thought it was really sweet how Soul, Jen, and Kenzie were kind of besties. And Kenzie and Jen are like besties. I think Melanie was trying to play hard to get with Corbin, and Corbin's not about that. He's like, why would I go over here and play, like, try and get this girl when I already have Kenzie? You know what I mean? So, I think when Sincere and Melanie were talking, they have a spark that could be explored still, you know? Because, I don't know, after episode 9 to episode 12, right before the recoupling, they never really talked. You know, like, Sincere was full-on invested in Soul. That was his woman. And Melanie was kind of over here thinking about Sincere every moment of every day, but kind of think about Corbin. I don't know. I just think it was kind of ridiculous how the events of this show have turned out. Kenzie and Corbin. I think they have a sexual tension. I think they have sexual tension only. I don't think they ever could have a real relationship, and I think they would crumble when problems would happen. And then I think Caleb needed to, if he really wanted to keep Kenzie, he should have manned up and manhandled Kenzie if he wanted to stick around with her. Episode 13 was when the love letters. So Bryce got a letter from Trinity and Trinity got a letter from Bryce. Jen got a letter from Gabe and Gabe got a letter from Jen. Casey got a letter from Anaya and vice versa. Kata got a letter from Zach and vice versa. Kenzie got 2 letters, one from Corbin and one from Caleb. If you did not get a letter from from another person, you were single and vulnerable. And the person who got 2 letters had to pick. Kenzie picked Corbin. Caleb was everything she could ask for. I just can't. He's a walking green flag. That boy, all he really wants is to find love. Kenzie just wants to. Corbin obviously got a letter from Kenzie, so then they were a couple and Caleb was left alone. Sincere got 2 letters. Obviously, one from Melanie and one from Soul. And Melanie got a letter from Sincere. I can't stand them, bro. He's always like, you feel like home, but let me go explore. But like, I'll come back home, but let me go explore. I don't know. I think Trinity and Bryce have a really good thing going because in episode 13, Trinity and Bryce are like home base. They'll go around, they'll go up to bat, make a play, see how far it goes, but they're always coming back to home base. And they both understand that for the most part. Or if they don't understand it, they talk about their issues. They have really good communication. I'm voting for Trinity and Bryce. Melanie and Sincere. Same analogy, let's say. Home base. Sincere makes a play, goes to bat, boom. Always comes back to Melanie. Melanie doesn't even play. She's like, oh, look at that. That's crazy. Maybe gets first base. That's it. Maybe halfway to first base. Gets out before she even leaves first base. Before she even leaves the home plate. Girl. And then gets mad when he's out here making plays. I don't understand her, bruh. I would love to do a deep dive into Melanie's trauma and figure out why she is the way she is and why her thought process is the way it is, because girl, wake up. At the end of episode 13, the couples were Sincere and Melanie, Corbin and Kenzie, Kata and Zach, Casey and Anaya, Jen and Gabe, Bryce and Trinity, and Caleb and Sol were together by default. Kenzie was done with Caleb at episode 14 and just wanted to be friends at that point. Sol felt lied to, and I 100% thinks she had the right to feel that way. 100% think she had the right to feel that way. At the end of episode 14, though, there was a voting off. America's favorite couples for top 4 would move on. Everybody else, that decision was made by the Islanders, which was a very emotional decision, I think. So, America's top 4 favorite couples. Trinity and Bryce, Kata and Zach, Anaya, Casey, Melanie, and Sincere. There were people that were left were Sol, Gabe, and Caleb. And Jen. Sol, Gabe, Caleb, Jen. I thought it was very interesting how they voted Gabe off. I think he was playing the game. I don't think Jen was playing the game enough. Because like I said, if you think about this like speed dating and not the real world, speed dating, they are dating multiple people at the same time. So there's that. Sol, they never gave her a fair shot. Never did they ever give her a fair chance at finding love. They really didn't. I think if it was up to me, I would have voted off Kenzie and Corbin, personally. Because I think Kenzie just is playing with people way too much. Every time a new shiny person comes in, Kenzie's after him. Every time. And Corbin is the same way. So, I don't know. I'm 50-50 with that. Kenzie's just kind of annoying to me. Her thought process is also interesting. I would love to deep dive into her trauma and history. Then in episode 15, there was the Princess Challenge, where Caleb was talking to Kata and Zach was hella jealous. And then some things were said which made Anaya insecure again. Episode 16 was another After Sun with Gabe and Sol. Gabe thought the strongest couple was Anaya and KC, and that not going to make it was Kenzie and Corbin. Apparently MBJ is in Sol's DMs or her likes on Instagram or something. Girl, go bag that man. That man is way better than Sincere or anything you would find on Love Island. I promise you that. He's a mama's boy. Like, he's perfect. Girl, go after MBJ. Praying nothing but the best for Sol. Gabe, I would love to see if he ever hit up Beatrice. Love to see it. Anyway, episode 17. We're going to try to wrap this up because this is getting a little bit long. Before the boys left for Casa Amor, Zach didn't make Kata breakfast. What was that about? I think Anaya was mad and jealous that Casey wants to explore connections, which is why he went into Casa Amor with, I think, the mindset that he did. Obviously, Melanie and Sincere were actually doing good for the most part, and then Sincere acted the way he did in Casa Amor. So obviously, the Casa Amor girls were Amora, Parmita, Jaden, Tiara, Alana, and Sydney. That live stream, I would have lost it. Like, I would have actually crashed out, I think. Because I'm kind of like, I feel like I relate a lot to Anaya, where it's like, or Melanie, where they like invest all of their eggs in one basket, kind of forget about everybody else. But I also feel like I'd be flirting with everybody else incidentally, like on accident, because I'm a Leo. I have a very friendly personality, so it is what it is. Episode 18, Alana apparently made out with Zach's brother, which I was like, ooh, crazy. I thought Zach and Alana were cute. They both have cats. You know, they're both cat mom, cat dad. Obviously, TT and Casey had a connection. TT went on him hard in Casa Amor. Girl, she was going in on him. She was like, you and me work together, and what about it? And he was like, oh, okay. You know, I don't think he really fought that, so it's fair. Obviously, with the Casa Amor revenge, the girls got a pool party with 12 men. The 12 men. We'll go through them real fast. Gall, Carl, Chandler, Ronnie, Che, Kyle, Key, Dylan, Trey, Corey, Ryan, and Tino. Carl kissed Anaya and Kenzie. Oh, everybody was kissing everybody at this point. Even with 6 new men that they picked to stay in the villa, which were Corey, Che, Gal, Ronnie, Dylan, and Carl, Melanie and freaking Anaya were like, I miss my man. Girl, for the love of God, wake up. Good Lord. I thought Carl was perfect for Anaya, which is why I think Beatriz should have stayed. I think Beatriz would have been like, girl, wake up. You saw what he was doing in that video. KC was going at it in the challenge. And Anaya was like, that's a hall pass. And then they received the letter in, what was it, episode 20? 19 or 20? Anyway, one of the episodes, they received a letter from the boys about them making out with other people outside of the challenges. I think Melanie should have picked Corey to bring back, because then she would have had 2 options. She would have let Sincere know, like, I'm not just another option to you. You need to prove yourself to me. I think that would have been the perfect. I think that would have been beautiful. I think Anaya 100% should have picked Carl. We all obviously at home knew that Casey was bringing back Titi. I just think that she should have went with her gut, which is why I, like I said, really wish Beatriz would have been there. So she would have been like, girl, wake up. You told us to tell you if you were being, this is what I would have said to her. You told us to tell you if you were being delusional. Girl, bring Carl home with you now. KC is bringing back somebody else. You know that. You know that. He has forgotten about everything you've had here. He does not give a damn about you. Go get Carl. So, when she did end up picking KC, she was obviously crying and upset. Carl saw her and got emotional and started crying. I started crying because Carl was crying. We was all crying over there. So, I thought that was really, really sad. T also, I heard Alana got kicked off for saying the N-word because some video was circulating around. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I thought it was really sweet how Bryce was like, I miss Trinity. The whole time I was thinking about Trinity. He made it known that he was like low-key closed off. He was like, I'm only thinking about Trinity. I miss Trinity. Like, I wish she was here, whatever. And he was willing to risk that chance and not get revenge and like go home alone to see if Trinity would too. And Trinity over there sleeping in soul ties for 2 nights because she didn't want to sleep next to Ronnie, because that's not Bryce. That's not Bryce. That was so sweet. Sincere was telling Amora that he was going to teach her ASL and his tongue, bro. Because what do you mean you're making out with her multiple times, Sincere? And he said this likes to say half-truths. He does not like to tell the truth to nobody. That boy moves in silence. He does not let nobody know what he's doing. Ever. Annoying, bruh. And obviously we at home know everything that's going on. Not in his head, but like, you know what I mean. Corbin was getting crap from everyone, and I think rightfully so, because he went into Casa Amor. Those girls came out. By the second girl, which I think was Parmita, he was like, Kenzie's out the window. Like, boy, you know. You may not know that this is live streamed to the girls and they can see everything, but you do know that this is getting live streamed on a national television to all of America. Who gets to vote if you get to stay or you get to leave? You know, like, it's America's choice who's in the top 4. You don't get to pick if you're in the top 4. The other islanders don't get to pick if you're in the top 4. America decides. And America don't be liking the way Casey or Corbin be moving. So I think it was very selfish and very rude. Because yes, you can pick a new connection. You can do it respectfully. Be like, yo, I appreciate you. I like you still. Like, I appreciate everything we had. I just want to explore this new connection as well. So I don't know. With the recoupling, it was girls' choice. So it was Jen and Gal, Caleb and Jaden. I think Jaden and Caleb are really sweet together. I think it was kind of messed up how, I think it was kind of interesting actually how Caleb and Corbin once again kept trying to go for the same girl in Parmita, but I don't know if I don't know if Corbin just likes going after other people's girls, because I think Kenzie likes to do that for sure. But anyway, and then Kenzie and Dylan, Corbin and Pernita, Kit and Zach, Melanie and Sincere, Trinity and Bryce. Anaya was left alone because Casey picked TT. So, T. And the whole argument over everything with Casey, like, I will give TT her flowers. She was standing 10 toes down for her man. So that I can appreciate. But the rest of it, I was like, girl, if you're not being talked to, don't speak. Speak when spoken to. Especially in a show like Love Island. Especially with somebody like Trinity. Girl, Trinity about to swing. And I heard from behind the scenes that Melanie and... not Trinity. There was somebody else that had to be moved off the couch because they was legit about to swing for their girl Anaya. And I thought it was really sweet in episode 22 when Anaya was, not in 22, 21, where when Anaya was breaking down, Melanie was like, girl, this hurts now. It's not going to hurt later. You get up and you wipe your tears and you stand up because you are that girl. You are that bad bee. Which I thought was very sweet. Obviously in Love Island USA, in the After Sun episode, Anaya asked these girls, they ask for something, the producers give it to them, and they still go back to the trash person they had. Kenzie asked for a beautiful cowboy, southern man, whatever. She got Caleb. Anaya asked for a Prince Charming. Here comes in a walking green flag. There couldn't have been a better sign for her other than a crown on his head. Girl, you asked for Prince Charming. We delivered. Couldn't stand that. Episode 23. Yeah, Melanie was Anaya's support system. I thought it was really, really sweet. Trinity and Bryce are locked in, and I'm obsessed with them. I love them. I did think in the beginning, probably like the rest of America, that their connection was fake. They were only coupled together because they had to be. But they were really coupled together because they really liked each other. They opened up about each other. I think that they are a very, very cute couple. Melanie and Sincere, again, toxic as hell. Melanie always forgives Sincere. She literally said, I can't stay mad at him. I don't know what it is. Give me that little smile. All of a sudden, my heart melts and love me. Like, girl. I want to grab her by the shoulders, slap her upside the head, shake her shoulders, and be like, wake up. God, all she's doing in the confessional, she's just crying all the time. And like I said earlier, I thought at first it was a weapon. And now I think it's a defense mechanism. Like, this girl, all she does is cry. She's gonna have some kind of cancer in her, I think it's cancers that cry all the time. But I think she has cancer in her freaking, like, chart because she is crying all the time. Like, girl, stand up. The same speech you're giving it to Anaya, give it to yourself. Jesus. Obviously, Anaya and TT are chill. They made up. Anaya only has beef with KC, which was proven in the cake challenge. Megan Thee Stallion, girl, whew, she can shake that. You know what I mean? Like, that girl got cake for real. Shout out Megan Thee Stallion, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Megan Thee Stallion not just get cheated on by what's his face? Was that Megan Thee Stallion or was that somebody else? I thought it was Megan Thee Stallion who got cheated on by that one basketball player, but I could be tripping. Anyway, I thought it was kind of respectful how Corbin took every shot to the face. Like, you know, got creamed in the face, whatever. Like, he took it to the face. He took it he did that with his chest. So I do appreciate that about Corbin. And I do appreciate that he was telling that to Casey. He was like, take it with your chest. You know, you did it. You stand on it. You know what I mean? I thought that was... I still don't like him. I thought it was sweet. And then Amora and Carl came back. I was screaming. I was up till 6 a.m. this morning, last night, whatever you want to call it, watching Love Island. I've been up since 10. Obviously, I'm addicted now. I can't sleep. But watching Carl come out of that cake, I prayed more than anything he was coming back. It really was kind of between Carl and Corey. I was worried America would choose Corey just because they want Melanie to wake up and have a real shot, but I think Melanie's in the toxic situation she's in, and I think she's the only one who can get herself out of it. I think even if America brought Corey back, and Melanie would still choose Sincere. I think she needs the hardest wake-up call in her entire friggin' life. I think Sincere at the next recoupling or something needs to happen for her to wake up and realize that Sincere is not going to choose her. You know what I mean? Like, Sincere is not going to... Sincere is not the right one for her. I think she needs a hard wake-up call. I think the only way that's going to be proven is them losing Love Island, essentially. I don't think that there's anything at this point that could happen that Melanie's going to change her mind about Sincere. I think she's on Sincere 10 toes down, and I think that Sincere, if he really does like Melanie, he's got a lot of making up to do. I know I said I was going to keep this short, but obviously I'm a liar, and so is Sincere. But Anaya was sleeping in Soul Ties because obviously that hurt her feelings. And then now with Carl coming back, I am a little worried about how high Carl's walls are going to be. Because obviously Carl told Anaya, my walls are going to be up. That's obvious. I'm just worried how high they are going to be due to the fact that, like, Anaya really does like him. She really, really likes Carl. So it's like, I really pray that Carl really gives her a second chance. Obviously, she needs to work for it. She needs to be on her hands and knees for that man. But, like, I really hope that they work out. Because I really do believe that Anaya deserves a chance with Carl. Obviously, she thought she was going to find that in Casey. Casey's he's too much. He was doing too much. He always does too much. But, like, I think that, I think that all the boys are different people than they are outside the villa. Obviously, TT and Amora saw that in Sincere. TT saw it more than, obviously, Amora, but she was like, he act like he don't even know me. Like, boy. So I thought that was very interesting. I think if Alana was still there, Zach might have brought her back as revenge. I'm not going to lie to you. I think if Alana stayed, I think that they might have had I think Zach might have brought her back, to be 100% honest with you. I'm excited to finish episode 24. We are on the jet ski date with Bryce and Trinity, which I think is so sweet. I'm excited to see what happens in tomorrow's episode and the rest of this season, to be honest. I just pray that things work out with Carl and Anaya. I really am praying for Carl and Anaya, bro. Anyway, if you're invested as I am, tell me what was your favorite part. Or what do you think I was wrong about? What do you think I was tripping about? I might read your comment. I might not. I don't have notifications on for nothing, so it is what it is. Bye.